Hello and welcome to SOVL. SOVL is a turn-based battle strategy game that pitches two medieval Renaissance style armies against one another. So imagine your sword and shield wielders with archers in the back and cavalry on the sides, maybe some gunpowder units, but then also intertwines it with fantastical elements. So you'll get your normal armies, but then there'll also be a regiment of trolls on the flank, some Pegasus behind, or wizards throwing fireballs. Stuff like that. You'll very quickly get the grasp. For anyone who's got any familiarity with Warhammer Fantasy Battles or Total War Warhammer or Fantasy Battles in general, you'll be very familiar with what's happening, and if not, you'll pick it up very quickly. It's a simple gaming concept to get a grasp of. As you've seen from the title and thumbnail, we'll be playing as the Abyssal Legions this time. So specifically, this run will focus on the sheer hitting power of this army. We're going to be taking heavy armoured, slow-moving troops, and are going to pummel everything we come across to death. We're playing on difficulty 6 harder bosses because difficulty 5, their enemies rally, is perhaps the most crucial one that allows them to return. So 6 just makes it so those ending boss fights are a little bit stronger. They're a touch weedy without them. Otherwise, yeah, that's how we're going to be running things. Here comes the most important choice we'll make in the campaign, our starting 2 units. Now, the Abyssal Champion we've taken starts with units of Northman Axis, so no need for another of those. Rather, following our theme of we want to be as slow but as tanky and as hard-hitting as possible, we're going to go with the Abyssal Warriors. Okay, here comes the most important selection of the game, our starting 2 units. Now we know the Abyssal Champion starts with a unit of Northman Axe, so those axe and shield bearers there, so we don't want to duplicate, we don't want another one of those. So sticking to our thesis of we want slow but extremely durable and high attack power units, we're going to go with the Abyssal Warriors. I'll show you what they do in a moment. And to supplement, we need at least one unit that has a bit of speed, because if you're all just standard infantry, you'll get kind of pummeled by the AIs, you get outpositioned, you can't really do anything clever, so we'll take one unit of Abyssal Knights, which is still accurate because they're still hard as nails. That'll be alright. We stick to the kind of standard-ish guys. Here's the campaign map for Act 1. So what I'll do is I'll go and explain how this is going to handle. Our objective is to reach this point here. This is the boss at the end, and we'll be starting over here, moving left to right. As we move through, we go through these stopping points, and I'll explain what each of these are now. Cross swords are battles, in which case your army fights against the enemy army in exchange for gold and experience for your troops at the cost of potentially sustaining casualties. The objective is to get through these while generating as much gold as possible and taking as few casualties as possible. Why do we want gold? Well, we want gold because we can spend it in armories. So emphasize these are effectively shops where we buy new units or improve the ones we already have. So elite battles are these swords down, they're just standard battles but harder in exchange for more gold. The question mark dice are random events. Difficult to describe what they are in advance. They could be any one of a dozen things. You come across a holy lake that bestows a blessing, a mercenary regiment offers to join you for a percentage of all your pay, things like that. So we'll go through a couple as we go through the campaign and see what they offer. And last but not least are the campsites. Campsites are an alternative to fighting where once you arrive at one, everyone in your army will receive a round of healing, and then you're given a choice between either taking a point of experience or an additional round of healing. Typically speaking, you want to avoid these if you're doing well, as you don't generate any gold from them, so you want to take as many fights as possible. You get experience from fights as well as the gold, you just get less healing. When you enter a fight, you have a choice. You get not really much in healing immediately, but you can then, with each individual unit, you'll get either take some extra gold on them, you'll get a flat sum for winning the fight, and then you get extra gold per unit, or you can heal that particular unit. So you want to get through these fights sustaining minimal casualties, because if everyone's fine, and you can take the extra loot of gold on everyone every time, and then you can generate as much gold as possible, allowing you to buy and upgrade as many units as possible, which makes things easier to fight, which makes you generate more gold, which you buy more things, which allows you to snowball the campaign, and eventually you'll get things will get easier later on in Act 2, where things get a lot harder. So you only visit a campsite if you're in dire straits and your army's being really, really badly kicked around. So with that in mind, our plan is to navigate a way through here that gets us as many fights as possible while avoiding these campsites. So if we have a look, there's of our 3 starting branches here, we have 3 fights in a row here, which is fantastic. Go up here and then we can go campsite, or we can go to an elite, which is good. We'll probably go down there. We'll have to go through one random event, which is fine for a bit of spice. We can kind of see what they do. In fact, there's no way to avoid that here. You will random event at that stage, and then it's fight by doing this, which is perfect for us. So we'll be traversing down this path. This is our army. Now, just for the beginning of this playthrough, we'll have to play with the old standard square regiments here. The 3D models for the game are in the process of being implemented. It's just the case that there's a tournament going on right now, and there's only a single game developer, so he's not pushing out the newest version, which has all the models attached, until that's over. It should be over around about now, by the time this video comes out, so hopefully within the next few parts we'll see all the fancy models in my and their army in one go. Otherwise, we can have a look at our troops with Vargir, Killsworn, or Abyssal Champion. I'll explain what all of this means when we get into our first fight. It's a accompanying unit of Northern Axes, the bigger, stronger Abyssal Warriors, Dreadguard, and the faster, harder-hitting Stone Flayers, Abyssal Knights on horseback. Going into our first battle with. Against Orc Scouts. So you'll note in this army we have no ranged potential at all. We're not going to be shooting anyone. It's all about melee for us. Okay, so the entire game is predicated upon the roll of a 6-sided dice. That's how all the mechanics are. So the very first thing that happens is I and my opponent both roll a dice to determine who goes first. So I rolled a 1 top left there, he rolled a 3, he gets to go first. By first it means he gets to move one of his units first, then we alternate. See how that works in a moment. So we're in the deployment phase here. You can move your units around, kind of just shuffle in position. One little trick I'll give away that doesn't really tell you very well is that if you hold the shift key when you're moving units like this, you can change their orientation. So you don't just have to always be dead straightforward when you're doing this, which is fine. Now for our deployment, against Orc Scouts, what you can presume is that usually there'll be some sort of infantry unit and some sort of fast cavalry unit in one of the flanks. What we want to do is we want to get one of our units into the flank or side of that cavalry. So to facilitate that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my cavalry in the centre. That's a bit bizarre. Ordinarily you think, well, cavalry go in the flanks, don't they, for the speed? Yes, however, we can kind of trick and beat the AI in its own game here. I'll show you what I mean. So I'll put you in the centre, we'll move our 2 infantry squads back a bit, because that's going to help us out a lot, and hopefully this will work just as intended, like so. So they're going first. There's a unit of Orc Warriors and a unit of Boar Riders. Now the reason we've done this is because what will happen is the AI will lock on to the closest enemy target, which will be our Abyssal Warriors. They'll come barreling forward. What will then end up happening is we can then position our Abyssal Knights such to catch them as they go in. So what we'll do is we'll delay that move first by doing this. So 2 most crucial keys in the game, in fact the only keys in the game we'll be using, are the X key and the C key. So by holding the X key, you can see your charge radius. What that means that if there was anything in this blue zone at the end of this turn, at the start of the next turn, when the charge phase comes back around, you'll be able to declare a charge on the enemy. Simultaneously, the C key reveals the enemy charge ranges, so if you don't want to be charged, make sure you're not in these zones. So we can see that's what they're charging. We're not going to get into that zone yet, because we can kind of get around and flank them properly. So we'll just move our guard up here. Okay, they've come barreling forward as we thought they would, so what we'll do, activate our knights. We're going to turn. We can kind of see we can do this as we move along. We're going to get into range. So brilliantly here, we know they can't move, we know they can't move. We've managed to reach the Boar Riders. There's nothing they can do to stop us. That's great. But what I'm going to do, just to be a little bit clever, I'm going to go a bit further forward, because it makes it easier for my warriors to move. I'll explain why in a moment. See them there. Can't be reached, and I can hit them in the side. I'll explain why I'm doing this, and then the warriors can move. We can ignore this blue zone. It'll become apparent in a moment why that's the case. That's good, yeah. So you can still see me, but we're not going to be concerned about that. Okay, no combat, so we'll go to the charge phase. The enemy is declared a charge on us. That's what that line represents. Now, the reason I was happy to leave my Abyssal Warriors hanging there is because I managed to get my knights into the flank of the Boar Riders. By that means the majority, or in fact in this case, the entirety of my unit is within their flank. So if you hover an enemy unit, you'll see the 4 flanks, a front, 2 flanks, and a rear. So if you're in the majority of an arc, that's what you'll end up charging. Many benefits to charging an enemy in the flank. One of the crucial ones is that when you do so, it counts as an intercept charge. What that means is that when you perform an intercept charge, it kills enemy charges. They can't complete their own. So we're going to go over and hit them in the side, which is fantastic. Okay, these Abyssal Orc Warriors are coming around to menace my champion. I'm going to move my Abyssal Warriors to eventually catch and intercept them. I'll delay with just a moment for these because we can wait until our other unit arrives. We can sandwich them in one go, like so. Come to our first round of combat. Okay, what's happening? Well, when you're in combat, there's 2 rolls you have to do. You have to do a hit roll and you have to do a save roll. What does that mean? Well, to determine the number of attacks you get, you simply look at your unit profile. So these are our stats here. Abyssal Knights come with 3 attacks each. So there's 5 Abyssal Knights here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we get 3 times 5 for 15 attacks in total. So we're going to roll 15 dice when we roll to hit the enemy. So the other thing, okay, it says 3+ to hit. Why does it say that? Well, when you determine the hit roll, or rather, what you have to roll on those dice to successfully hit the enemy, you compare skills. So in combat, it's skill. So we're skill 4 and the enemy is skill 3. Our skill is superior to enemy skill, so we hit on 3+, meaning the result of 3, 4, 5, or 6 will result in a successful hit. It represents our skill being superior to the enemy. We have a better odds than not chance of hitting, 66% chance. So 15 attacks with a 3+ chance to hit, resulting in 12 hits. 1, 2, 1, don't hit. Okay, I'll explain what happened there in just a moment. Right, so what happened next is we got our 12 hits. The enemy then has to roll a saving throw. So that was their saving throw. So that's determined by looking at the power of the attack against the defense of the recipient. So we have a base power of 4, and because we have a hand weapon and shield, you see that gives us +1 permanent defense, and then charge bonus +1 power. So on the charge we went up from power 4 to power 5. So our power is now 5. Looking at the enemy defense, the enemy's defense 5, so you have equal power to defense. When power and defense are equal, the enemy gets to save on a 4+, meaning any roll of a 4, 5, or 6 will save the incoming hit. Any roll of a 1, 2, or 3 will fail, and they'll take the wound. So in this case, they rolled perfectly averagely. A 4+ when 5 against 5 represents you have an exactly 50-50 chance power and defense are equal. They rolled a perfectly average roll, they saved exactly half, they take 6 wounds. Now, Boar Riders, much like my Abyssal Knights, they have 2 wounds each, so 2, 4, 6, 3 of them died outright. The enemy then got to hit me back. They only got 2 attacks. Now, the reason that is because I flanked them. So that the other crucial aspect of flanking an enemy is that they don't get to fight with all their attacks. Only the one guy in base contact with you gets to hit into you. So that one guy in his 2 attacks here hit me. He has inferior skill to mine, so he only hits on a 4+ rather than a 3+, so 2 and a 6 gets 1 hit. And then my saving throw, all the way up at a 2+. Now the reason for that is because of my Abyssal Armor. Now ordinarily I'd be defense 5 against power 4. My defense would be superior to the enemy power, which means I'd save on a 3+. So a 1 or 2 fail, a 3, 4, 5, 6 would succeed. So it represents defense being superior to power. But however, I have Abyssal Armor on my knights, -1 movement, so it slows us down because it's heavy armor. I have a +1 to damage save, so whatever my save would be, improve it by 1. So my save would be 3+ when dealing with power 4 against defense 5, but then it gets improved to 2+, or effectively anything but the roll of a 1 will successfully save. I roll a 2, because of Abyssal Armor, that's good enough to take no damage. And then this happens. Okay, so I'll explain what that is. That was a what is effectively a break test. The enemy lost combat by a great deal, they took a lot of damage and done none in return, so then they have to roll what is effectively a morale check to make sure that they hold in combat. So in this case they very much didn't, they couldn't succeed in the roll, they had to roll a -1 on 2 dice. You roll 2 dice, and as long as you roll equal to or under the result needed, you'll be fine. They had terrible discipline, which is what you break tests are your discipline minus how much you lost by, so they were flanked for 1 point, they took 6 wounds for 6 more points, that's 7 in total. 6 minus 7 is -1. So yeah, they can't possibly hold. They fail the morale check and they run clean off the field, and now they're gone. They won't be coming back. You have no charges because we're not fussed. He's going to come back around to hit you, which is fine, because eventually I'm going to have my infantry deal with this, because I'm going to show off what they can effectively do. I'm just going to have you stand there because there's no need to send you into that. I just want to show what the infantry can pull off. I'm not going to send them into the front because it's just kind of unnecessary damage. I'm just going to let the Axemen and the Abyssal Champion see what they can offer in combat here, and then the Knights will just kind of take it off for the rest of the battle. They've done their part, they've done very well. Some interaction with the terrain here, I'll explain how that works in a moment, but not for now. Again, we can intercept them, so this is a non-concern. I'll move you up and around, just in case this unit holds on and doesn't run away. They'll turn and face us here, in which case I can then charge them inside next turn. That's really... Now, our Abyssal Champion comes with an ability. There's Demonic Possession, so activate once per battle, gain 3 attacks, at the cost of -3 skill. So you've got to do a little bit of maths in your head to figure out whether or not that's worth it. So in this case, we would have 3 attacks with skill 5. So we have superior skill to enemies, so we would hit on 3s. With 3 attacks hitting on 3+, we hit 66% of the time. We have an average of 2 hits. If we increased our attacks up to 6, we would drop our skill to 2, which means they would have a superior skill, so we'd only be hitting on 4s. And we would have 6 attacks hitting on 4s, which is 50% chance, which is 3 hits on average. So you'd actually get more hits on average by increasing your attacks but lowering your skill. So we will demonically possess ourselves in this instance. So up goes our attacks. That's all we'll do. Combat again. So our Vargear is going first, so he now has worse skill, so he hits on 4s, but he gets 4 hits, which is fantastic. And then save, he has superior power to the enemy defense, so they can only save on 5+. We roll a 3, 3, 3, 4. He kills all 4 of them on his own, which is great. 9 axemen accompany him and get to attack, so they have equal skill to the enemy, so they hit on 4s. 9 of them with 1 attack each, so 9 attacks. Starting with 6 hits, good roll. Killing another 4 of them because they didn't roll particularly well there. Now they only get to fight back with 3 guys because there's only 3 guys touching, so they hit on 4+ because of equal skill again, so a miss, and a hit. I then have 1 saving throw to make with exactly equal power to defense, so I save on 4+. I save on a 5, excellent. I take no damage, they lose by 9. They can't possibly hold in combat, they run. Perfect first battle. Now at the end of each fight, you'll see you generate experience for your troops, and then you look at the remaining models. If you sustained a lot of casualties, you may get a few back for free, and then you're given a choice. You can either rest or loot. So for the guys who are obviously max HP, we might as well just take the loot. So you get a flat amount of gold each time after a fight, and you can take extra gold for the units. This is why you don't want to take a lot of damage, because if you're nice and healthy, you can just keep generating gold. And our starting axemen start with lesser strength because of the difficulty we're playing on. So we can either put them back up to full strength or just take more gold. At this point, honestly, with the Abyssal Champion, they're more than potent enough in their own right, so I'm just going to take the extra gold. So up to 210. Our army is exactly as it was, so we'll simply go straight into the next battle. Roaming Brigands, so we'll try and show off the Abyssal Warriors this time. They're going first. Now, presumably there'll be some sort of annoying archer unit hiding at the back this time, so if there is, they'll be either here or here, and they like to tuck into cover if they have the choice, so I'm going to put my cavalry there to see if I can catch them and run straight at them. You can kind of hide behind that tree just in case they're here. They're on that side. Annoying. Okay, I'm going to have to slowly make my way over to them. They're going to go first and immediately hit and kill my... Yeah, we have a terrible saving roll, so they get to shoot me at range, so obviously X and C keys give away our range here, but if you hold the shift key, you can see your range stuff, of which we have none, and shift and C, enemy range stuff. So this is what they can see. They can only see them. They're just going to be shooting and killing my poor Northman axes over and over again, which is going to be somewhat unfortunate because everything else would be far more durable at dealing with it. So I'm going to move you out of the way and get behind this tree line. So the way terrain works is that enemy units can see into it, but not beyond it. So you can see the green area there goes into the terrain, they get stopped by it. So they can't actually draw a line of sight to us anymore there. They come forward. I'm going to have them engaged by the Abyssal Warriors. I'm not going to be able to do anything about the archers until next turn. I'll get the knights on them. You come forward and prepare to defeat these 4 swordsmen in combat. No charges this turn. They come. That's slightly annoying positioning, so the knight should be able to get onto them this turn, so I'm going to have you move around here and start to come to help. Forward he comes, that's fine. Okay, we'll get the knights around there to deal with their pesky ranged unit. Perfect, so that's, you can see we can hover over them. The majority of my unit is in their rear arc, so we're going to rear charge them here. That's it, and then here, I can't get around to the flank of this unit, so I'm just going to take them head on. So Abyssal Warriors versus Imperial Swordsmen. Charge me. So the charge, I'm going to... You could flee where you're so inclined, but why on earth would the Dread Guard ever flee from a paltry unit of swordsmen? We can take them no problem. I'll eliminate these archers as well. We're not going to be able to reach this turn, but that's fine. Nothing else to do, straight into combat. Alright, so here we go. So the enemy gets their attack, so they have one attack each. So the number of attacks you get, you can only fight in 2 ranks. So the first rank and the second rank. So that third rank in the back there didn't get to participate. So they only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 attacks. They have inferior skill to me, so they hit on 4+. They rolled terribly, then they rolled 3 hits. Now again, their power went up due to them charging, so there were 3, and then it went up to 4 because of the charge bonus from hand weapon and shield. But I'm still superior in defense to them. Defense 5 against defense 4, so save on 3+. And like my knights, the Abyssal Warriors also benefit from Abyssal Armor, so they improve their saves by 1, so my 3+ becomes a 2+, or anything but the roll of a 1 will save. Unless I managed to lose it. Never mind. So our attacks back, we have 2 attacks each, so it's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, but except the back rank guys only ever get 1 supporting attack, so it's 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I have superior skill to the enemy, so get 4 against 3, so I hit 3+, hit 12 times, and I have superior power to the enemy defense, so they can only save on 5, so they save very well, but not enough to change the outcome. Over here, so yeah, superior 3 attacks, 3 times 5 is 15, superior skill 3+ to hit, 10 hits, and superior power to defense 5 ups. They roll terribly, 9 of 10 and die instantly. Can't roll a -3 on 2 dice, I'm afraid, so they're also going to run, and that's all she wrote. Our Abyssal Warriors, they're effortlessly outclassing the weedy little swordsman. So we only got 1 of those back, so we're obviously going to have to heal this unit now to take a lot of damage. The Dreadguard Abyssal Warriors have leveled, so we've generated enough XP on some of our units to start leveling up, so we'll see what that looks like. Right, so the Abyssal Legions that we're playing have a unique upgrade option, so the Demonic Gift. So I'll go through what each of these are. Discipline is you improve discipline. Typically you never want to take this because the only reason you would use that is if you fail a combat, or rather you lose and you have to roll a morale check. You don't want to be playing the game in such a way that you need to roll those, so just ignore them. Replenishment is if you're taking a lot of damage, then you need to replenish a lot. Again, you don't really want to be playing the campaign in such a way that you need it, so avoid these 2 unless you really desperately need them. So we're going to go with Demonic Gift, +1 to a random stat. So any one of these could increase by 1. This could be really unfortunate and you could get Discipline, or it could be unbelievable. So you could get an extra wound each, which would be incredible, an extra attack each would be great. Defense 6 would be kind of excellent because it means we'd almost always be saving on 2+. So yeah, almost anything but Discipline would be an excellent boon to our unit. We get 3 attacks each. They're an absolute blender now. Fantastic. Demonic Fury, +1 attack. Now, Knights have also leveled. They can do the same. So we're not taking replenishment, so it's a cost between these 2. Is the random stat, in theory, superior or inferior to what we could get out of just taking extra skill? Well, Discipline would be worse, whereas I think almost everything else, every other stat we would get would be superior, versus you could just wind up, the skill would be the same because we wind up at whereas we are, and then we could take this in the later level anyway. Or power would be better because it gets us over some crucial breakpoints, which I'll explain later. Defense 6 again makes you harder now. 4 attacks each basically turns them all into characters in their own way, or 3 wound cavalry is all amazing. So we'll definitely be taking this, and again, cross fingers everyone, we don't wind up with Discipline. Power 5, excellent, so we'll be power 6 on the charge, which is pretty impressive. Okay, and then healing. 9 of 10 Abyssal Warriors is honestly still perfectly viable, so we'll take the gold, and the Knights are obviously perfectly, so more gold please. We know where we are, so we're going to our 3rd fight. It's Goblin Raiders. So probably some irritating Goblin Archers tucked away at the back again. I'm going first, which is good. It allows me to spring forth. Now, something to bear in mind with this difficult terrain, the reason it serves as cover, so if you're standing and you get this cover bonus, what that means is that when things shoot at you, they suffer a minus penalty to hit you, which is nice. The downside is when you're moving through it, it halves your movement. Obviously, it's hard for units to negotiate their way through this thick terrain, so they get slowed down terribly. So what you probably want to do is our intention is to reach the enemy as fast as possible. Presumably they'll be either on this side or this side, and I can't know in advance where they're going to be, so sort of hedging with this is my best bet. They'll probably be there, I suspect, so I guess we could I don't want to gamble and put him on there, because if he's over on that side, it'll take forever to get around, so I'm going to stick you in the middle, weirdly. You behind cover, and you behind cover, so you can't be shot at annoyingly. Like so. Ah, interesting. Wolf Riders. 2 units of wolf. So we're not dealing with range stuff, it's all going to be enemy impressive cavalry. So I'm going to have to deal with each of these in turn. They only go up to power 4 on the charge, which means my Abyssal Warriors here would be resilient enough to deal with them. So I'm just going to move you around. They'll probably come forward and catch me immediately, which is fine. I don't really want... This is the one unit that can't take the hit, our Northman Axes, so I suspect I'll use this unit. I'm going to move you away. I'm actually going to have you start coming up here to engage that unit Goblin Mob. Before they come, yes, you're going to charge them. I suspect I'll win that even if they do hit me, so I'm happy to take them on. And you're going to come over here and annihilate this poor unit of Wolf Riders. So, they'll come forward, but they won't reach us, so we're fine. Okay, so we're going to hit these in the side. They're going to hit us there. We can't reach them to countercharge, which is unfortunate, but it won't actually make any difference in this instance. Because we're already power 4, the charge would improve us to power 5. However, the enemy's only defense 3. So we're already over them, so being 1 over them or 2 of them is mathematically irrelevant. Their save is still reduced to 5+, so yeah, just letting them charge us is perfectly fine. From there, and receive this head on. So me next. Annoyingly, I have to... okay, I guess I'll just have to take the Goblin Mob head on then. They've probably got better movement than I do, so I might not be able to charge them. No, okay, we're going to hit each other, so all charges all the time. Here we go again. So, yeah, we're still superior skill. However, I'm going to explain it now because I won't have a chance when it's rolling. Because we got demonic power, our power is now increased to 6 on the charge. So from the base of 4, +1 for the charge with this, and a permanent +1 for that, which is 6. So our power is now 3 or more greater than the enemy defense. So when that happens, it worsens their save again from a 5+ all the way down to a 6+, meaning that when we see the save roll that's about to happen, only rolls of 6s will be able to save the enemy. So here we do, with 11 hits, which is good, so they only save on 6+, they take 9 casualties. They get no hits back because they have terrible skill. They can't roll -5, straight off the field they go. Now over here, the reason I took this charge head on is because even with their charge bonus going up to 3 to 4, I still have better defense than them, so 3+, and Abyssal Armor kicks in, so 2+. So they hit quite a few attacks, so I'm going to take quite a few saves. I might lose 1 or 2 here. I roll no 1s, I take no damage even with their charge. And I have 3 attacks each with the front rank, so 3, 6, 9, 12, 15 attacks, 16, 17, 18, 19. I have better skill, so 3 hits, 13 hits. And I still have better power. We almost wipe out the whole unit. We do 11 of 12 of their wounds. They really can't beat us head on. They're too durable, the Abyssal Warriors. So this is obviously happening, we can't stop it. These units fail to rally, so when a unit breaks but they're still on the field, they're given an opportunity to try and rally and stay in combat. They had to roll a 5 or less, which is very unlikely on 2 dice, the average is 7, so they rolled a 10, which is terrible, so they're going to run away again. Okay, so over here we're going to turn and get you, in case this combat is still ongoing, I'm going to turn and get you into their flank. Yeah, I don't know, you're not going to get to them in time, so just come over here and help with this. So again, we have to make a decision. Do we use Demonic Possession on our Abyssal Champion? So again, the enemy has skill 3, so the mathematics are exactly the same. We'll get 3 hits on average with 6 attacks hitting on 4s versus 2 hits on average with 3 attacks hitting on 3s. So it's better for us to use it, and we could, as we did last time, we could spike and roll more than 3 hits. So it just gives you an upper ceiling, which is good. We go again, so 6 attacks, we hit 4 times, fantastic, and it kills 4. An absolute blender of a unit he is. And then the accompanying axeman hits 6 times, killing another 4, so I'm fairly confident we won this. They hit very well, the goblin mob hit 7 times. With the charge, they have equal power to my defense, so I save on 4+. I take 4 casualties, but I still win by 4. The enemy need to roll double 1 to hold on, and they do not. Victory achieved. So yeah, the most fragile unit we've got, the only one that can't really... They can win these straight up combats, but they will take some wounds when they do, so are these Northman Axes. So the Abyssal Champion is now leveled. Interesting. So it's still reading. That will go away in a second, don't worry about it. So we get our choice here. So Discipline, again, no thank you, avoid that if you can. Skill or Demonic Gift. Is there anything he would care about beyond skill? So you could just get skill itself. Power would be great, because you'd go from 4 to 5 to 6 on the charge, which helps out in many instances. Defense 6 would be more niche on a character, as would wounds, so I'll explain how that works. Characters don't really get to rely on their defensive properties outside of a very specific scenario, because when you're hitting an enemy unit with a character in it, you hit against the stats of the unit, not the character. So the wounds and defense of my axeman is what's actually going to be relevant. The only reason his defense and his wounds would come up is either 1, the entirety of the axeman is killed and he's the only one left, in which case, fine, you can then start using stats. Or 2, if you engage an enemy unit in combat that also contains a character, 2 characters will enter a duel. So they'll face one-on-one, in which case their individual stats do matter, they'll roll directly against one another. So wounds, not great, and I mean some niche applicability in defense, same reason. So power would be great, attacks would be fantastic, discipline, and skill equal. So we can pick up the skill later, so I'll just try the demonic gift down, see what we get. Extra power, great, one of the ones that benefits it, but we got lucky there. That's good. And then his company axeman leveled. More unit size, skill to help them win fights, a little bit more comprehensive, all looter. So that when I press the little gold button on the side there, whenever I do, I get 5 extra gold on top of whatever I would get. That's pretty nice. They're the unit I'll be using looter on the least, however, because they're taking the most damage, so that's not necessarily the best bet. So I'm going to help them in combat, because they're the one that needs some actual assistance with not maybe taking so many hits. So I'm going to go with extra skill, make them a little bit more potent. Now choice again, you're full HP, 9 of 10 is perfectly viable there. And then here we're down to 8. So him and 8 guys, we're just about to go into an armory shop, so I really want to hold on to the gold that we get. So I'm going to take a slightly understrength unit. It's going to be tricky because the next fight after this we know is an elite battle, so it's going to be a bit hard, but I think it's worth it in the end. I think we can pull it off. So go to gold. We have 382 gold going to our first armory. Okay, here are our units. So we get a choice. You can pick these, and then so you can buy new units, and you can upgrade the ones you already have. Now I don't particularly want another unit of Norseman axes. They're a bit squishy, and the Norseman horses are kind of weak. So again, as these powerful heavy hitters that I want to go all melee all the time, being hard as nails, the Abyssal Knights would probably be the way to go. They're discounted, so they're 25% off, so it's more of an incentive, and they're a retinue, so they'll move my character out of his starting Norseman axe unit and move him into this, which is nice because it means he can get into things more potent, he can make more use of himself, so I'll take those. It's 138 for some upgrades. Right, now, we could start thinking about, we can buy weapons for guys, we can buy armor, and we can buy banners. So the banners are magic banners that kind of improves. So Banner of Mist means that if anything shooting you, it suffers a -1. Banner of Fury is such that if you charge, you get an extra power. And Swiftness gives you an extra movement, which is really nice for the knights because they start off a bit slow. So we'll go. We start with hand weapon and shields, and so we start with +1 defense permanently and +1 power. We can upgrade them to great weapons. So you lose the defense, so we go down to defense 4, which isn't ideal. Being defense 5 with Abyssal Armor is really good for the 2+ save, but it would mean you go up to power 6, which is obviously a big deal at hitting things really potently. I'm going to avoid that because I would rather the defense than their damage output is frankly good enough, so I'm just going to leave them as they are. The Axemen are going to take the Banner of Fury because they're the ones I want to actually hit harder. That'd be nice. Making them defense, what is their starting defense? Defense 4. So I could make them defense 5, which would be bad. I'd make them really slow, it'd probably make them a little bit more useful, or I could give these I can do both. So yeah, I'll give the Axemen superior defense so they don't die quite as much, and I'll speed up this unit of Abyssal Knights so they can get to where I need them to be. So that's our army now. We've got Abyssal Knights, the Warriors, and the Axemen, and the character here, Vargir Killsworn, has moved to the Skull Crushers Abyssal Knight unit there. We'll test our new units and their newfound might against an elite battle. Gundrick and Vilhide. So elites come with enemy characters that you have to contend with, so that's how they work. Rolling our dice, they get to go first, which is fine. We now have 2 units of cavalry, which is nice. I'm going to use cavalry the more traditional way, and I'm going to put them on the flank. Like this. And we'll have you come running down the centre. So we have a unit of ranged option there, dwarf handgunners, so we want to get on them and kill them quickly, and 3 units of infantry we want to deal with here. I'm going to let them shoot me first. The reason being is that if they do so, it's obviously convenient for me because I don't have to bother with them shooting at me. The veterans are a nuisance because they'll never run away from combat, but I'm pretty sure the Abyssal Warriors can just beat them to death if they have to. Yeah, so they'll have to move forward, which makes catching them easier. You just come forward. Going to shoot here, which is fine. I get a 2-up save because defense 5 plus Abyssal Armor. Take double 6, I take no damage. So let's go eliminate them while I have the chance. Very good. I'm not going to get to the side arc or anything fancy, I'm just going to smash right through them. And here we can get our knights into a convenient flanking position here, which is good. Charge them in the flank. Charge them head on. So we'll go straight through that, no problem, and we'll suspect we'll be fine here. That's an awkward bit of positioning there. So what's going to happen is they're going to engage me, and they're obviously going to try and engage you. So I'm going to run straight, but I can't quite make it, annoyingly. I want to get into a position where I can assist with this combat, because they're going to need a bit of help. Can't quite. That heavy armor I just purchased, slowing us down by 1 point movement, actually means I can't escape this unit's positioning. It's a bit annoying. Can't get there. Well, interestingly, they'll turn. That might work. So they're oriented this way now. However, if they hold in combat and they stay in position, what will happen is they'll turn around. So they'll turn to face this block. So they might stretch out far enough here that I can actually tip them. Try and be a little bit more precise and see if I can't do a bit better. So unfortunately, if I do that, I go a bit too far and I can't work. I need to twist more. No, it doesn't get far enough. Get just beyond his reach, so like that is probably the best I can do. So I'm not being touched by the enemy, and I likely will be able to assist with this if they turn and face them, which is good. They're going to come forward, which is fine. What am I going to do about it? What I'll do is I'll just have you move out of their way. And if I get to charge first, then what I can do is I can put them to the side of the veterans. If not, fine, I'll take a head-on battle with the berserkers. The dwarf foreman here has used his ability, the Shield War. So for this turn, if I can highlight it, his unit's going to reroll all their damage saves. So any failed save, they get a chance to roll it again to stay alive. So they're going to be really, really difficult to kill this turn. They're going to be hard as nails. Am I going to use demonic possession this turn to kill these handgunners? No, it's a waste. I can easily beat them with what we've got here. There we go. So the character always gets to hit me even if he's not oriented correctly. So yeah, he's there, but he still gets to imagine everyone kind of makes way for the special character and gets to hit me in the side. We have equal skill, he hit me every time, but he's only power 4 against defense 5, so 3+, improved to 2+ this armor. No 1s, please. We roll a 1, we take 1 wound. Fine. We then hit back. 9 hits. So they'll save on 5s, but they'll reroll because of the. So they don't roll very well, they're still hard. And they attack me again, they get 1 hit, which is still 2+, and I'm fine. Excellent. They break, because that was just a bit too much to ask for them. Over here, this won't be tough. You actually don't kill one there, and then we'll rely on the knights to do the damage. Kill the amount of damage. 2+ again. No damage. Very, very durable with Abyssal armor. Don't hold on, not surprising. Combats, we're going to have you take that head on. I could rear charge that unit. I'm going to leave it for a moment because they have to test to see if they come back. They likely will because they're high discipline, however I can have that unit come in and contend with them. So rather I'm going to have you hit the veterans on this flank. They test, oh, these handgunners come back. Am I going to have you stand here and deal with that? Probably not, it's a bit of a waste. I'm just going to ignore them after this point. 3 handgunners are disregardable. Stay there. They haven't rolled yet for some reason, they got away with it somehow. So what I'll do is I'll have you come around, get you into a position where you can help with either of these combats. So I can see everything, which is good. Don't get so close you end up immediately engaging them would be convenient. Oh, they failed to test when I wasn't looking. Okay, right, so here we go. So the Berserkers have really high damage output. They have 2 hand weapons, so 2 attacks each, so 12, and then 1, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 attacks. They have superior inferior skill, so 4+ to hit, but they get, because of their frenzy ability in the first round of combat, they get to re-roll. So they wind up with 12 hits. I have a 2-up save, I'm going to be taking some damage here. Yeah, I lost quite, well, that's quite agonising. I'll likely still win because I'm an even better blender unit than they are. Yep. Just forcing me to roll so many dice, I will eventually roll 1s. And here, we kill a bunch of veterans. Once back. I don't roll a 1, which is fine. Now, veterans are fearless, which means they don't suffer from the negative penalties from losing combat. They always roll at full leadership, so they they weren't going to be running away there no matter what they were going to turn. So you kill those off so they don't come back. You hit them in the side. You can just, I guess we can just hit that because they'll need to turn around, so we can kind of ignore them. Just get on these veterans and annihilate them. They have nothing to shoot. The reason they couldn't shoot us is because ranged units can't declare shots into tied combat. So if you're locked in combat with an enemy, they can't fire into it for presumably fear of hitting their own guys. They'll hold fire. I'm not using my ability this turn because they should just be dead. Our champion kills one. Now the reason this is speeding up is because I'm holding. If you know it's going to be easy, just hold the space bar and you can kind of whiz through combats. We got very lucky there. We didn't take a wound on that wounded knight, so they're all still alive, and they've been dead. Overkill beyond what we need to finish them. These warriors will of course deal with this easily enough. Very good. You might be about to be shot by that, which is fine. No charges here. Bang bang. Damage, thank you. Probably just start having you coming towards them. Right, who do I want to deal with this? We can spend a bit of time. Eventually we'll get someone into a nice flank charge and really mess them up. They literally can't face all the units simultaneously. They'll have to make a choice. It's not going to be a pretty one. The enemy's taking so much damage now that they are routing this turn. So even if there were no further combats and I did nothing, they're just going to give up and concede the battle. So it's pretty much once this happens, there's not really a huge point in engaging in further combat. Warrior, which is sad. We might as well we can't do it. We're just going to skip the phase because regardless of what they do, they're not going to be able to charge because there is no next turn. A little bit of damage to our warriors there, which is unfortunate, but I kind of saw it coming when we faced the berserkers head on. We get 2 back, which is nice. We have 2 back, which is 7, which is probably good enough. And then everyone else is still viable, so take all the gold. Very good. Go to a random event. Optional battle against angry giants. Okay, so I know what that's going to be. It's going to be 4 giants going to be stomping around. It's going to be fairly difficult for us to contend with an all melee army, so we're gonna do it. It's going to be really, really hard, but we'll try and pull it off. First, so there'll be a load of giants, as you might suspect. So we're just going to deploy around and hope for the best. Giants, 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 giants. So my cavalry can probably take 1 of these each. That's where they get to. So if I just stand there and charge him, that'd be fine. Same deal with you. They can't quite reach us, so charge them in our turn. Giants are annoyingly fearless, so even if I do kind of break that, even if I do well in combat, it's not going to fundamentally change the outcome. You come up. 8 wounds each, defense 6, so quite tough. Right, so we're going to take 1 of these on each, and we're going to take 1 of these on each. So what I'll probably do is I'll hit the ones on the flanks, then these ones will be inclined to start attacking these, which is okay. So, and then I can use this unit. Do I use my... No, I'm going to save it because... I mean, it would actually be better to use it, wouldn't it? Because we get more hits on average. I think so, yes. We do it now. Try and get through this as fast as we possibly can. Already comes. Okay, I know where the giants position. I want to wait for my cavalry units to conclude these battles on the flanks before I get these stuck in, because I'm going to be honest, they'll just lose in a direct battle if I try to throw them in there. So just kind of get to safety for a second. My infantry can't beat them in a straight fight, tough as we are. Here we go. 3 hits. He does 2 wounds because he's power 6 now because of his power, which is great. So we're 4 of the way there. You get a couple hits. 3 wounds there. So we've done 5 wounds thus far. Hit back now. They're power 6, so my vaunted armor here isn't going to be as useful as usual. So 6 against defense 5 means I'll be saving on 5+, which is then improved to a 4+ because of the Abyssal armor. So only a 4, 5, or 6 will save me. I lose 1 instantly. So I win. They're fearless, so they don't suffer any benefits from going down in combat. So he's still going to hang out. Do 11 hits here, which is good. I do 7 of 8 wounds, which is fantastic. So that's good. We're going to get through this next turn as well. We take 1 wound, so they're largely intact. holds on. They very, very rarely run away due to the fearlessness. Yeah, next turn I'm confident I can kill. I might get stuck here, we'll see. Charges. Forward he comes. Yep, let's just sort of, again, wiggle away from him, because we can't win this. Like that is fine. That's really bad news, because if I don't stand here and fight this unit of giants with this now, they're going to hit them in the side. You're going to have to turn and hit them. Okay, so our character does 1 more wound, good, and then 2 more, please. Excellent, got him. Yeah, they're only power 4, but that's still enough to... If they were power 3, we'd be saving on 2+, which would be a nightmare, but we could do just well enough to get through. Take an extra wound, which is fine. And over here, can we do 1 wound? Yes, we can, we do just fine. We don't even take any... Wow, they managed to kill that giant without taking a single casualty. That's very impressive. You're going to have to fight this giant 1 turn unsupported, I'm afraid, which I can do to help you with that. You're going to turn and face my knights. That's not charitable at all. I'm going to hit you in the back with my axeman. What I'll do is I'll move you up to the side. Do I want to do that? Maybe not, actually, because I don't want these knights sustaining any more damage, because 1 more wound will lose 1. So I'll have these charge in, do a bunch of damage. He'll then turn around, and the next phase I'll then hit it in the back with the knights. So around there. So fine, slight muck up on my part, but that's okay. You can then go. You're going to get around here to hit this giant at the back. So okay, let's see the damage. So yeah, 4+ because of our Abyssal armor. I lose all 3 of them. Ouch. Still many attacks, which is quite impressive. So it's a draw. But yeah, now we're going to start losing because there's not many of them left. Probably need a campsite just specifically to heal these poor guys. They're taking a lot of damage and they're hard to replenish. Now here, I'm going to go back to where I was because I decided against that. So yeah, we'll go there. We'll wait for them to turn. He's going to, of course, he's going to hold on. There's no way of breaking on him. So they'll turn around and then he can hit him in the rear charge. Here we go. Right, can I kill it this turn? No damage from our character, unfortunately. There's no damage to the warriors this time, which is good. And they still have fantastic number of attacks because they didn't do many off the front rank. And then 3s, and 3s. Dead. Excellent. Just enough. Excellent work there, knights. Do 1 wound, which is enough to win combat, but he's obviously not going anywhere. You'd have to roll 10 or higher. Hopefully, we will lose some action from him pummeling us, but that's probably enough to show him the door. You won't be participating in this battle, so just leave it. So the Axeman now, because only power 3 against defense 6, it saves on 2s, but still managed to roll a 1. Hits 4 times, defense 5, still saving on 5s. We only lose 1, excellent saving roll. And 12 hits from the knights, another 4 wounds. He's alive on what, 2? He fails the morale check with a bad roll. So when you surround an enemy like that and they fail the break test, they can't run away because they're completely surrounded, so they just die on the spot. So imagine they've broken morale and just get ringed by the enemy and hacked to death. So the Abyssal Knights are leveled again, which is good. Oh no, this is our new one. So stat, extra unit size, or the skill. Again, we went through the math, so the stat is better than the skill in most instances. So cross fingers, no discipline. Defense, great. We're now defense 6, so even those giants would be wounding us from 3+. And the Abyssal Warriors have leveled skill, unit size, or discipline. Skill would be nice, because when we encounter skill 4 stuff, we'll be skill 5, and we can get over them and still hit them on 3s. So yeah, continuing the damage output path for our Abyssal Warriors. And the Abyssal Knights have leveled replenishment size or discipline. Not any of that immediately useful. We're obviously doing fine on count, so we'll use the size. We'll use it eventually, but not right now. So the Knights, this is the unit that has the character in it. So it's 4 and the character. I'm happy to leave them with 4, that's okay. You need a few more, you need a few more, and you're perfectly fine as you are. You gain Relentless, so +1 permanent attack on our character, fantastic. So that's why these option battles are nice, because they count as a normal battle for the other purposes. You get the gold, you get the experience, you get stuff like that, and then you get an extra magic item on top. Supplement the fact that it's perhaps slightly harder than a normal battle, which I think we'll have time for 1 more. We'll go into another battle here against the bandit gang. inferior humans who haven't seen the way of chaos. This definitely isn't a chaos army for those who are Warhammer Fantasy inclined. Legally distinct chaos. So I'll put our cavalry on the flanks because there'll be surely something. Well, maybe I'll be a bit cheeky. There might be some enemy cavalry unit on the side, so it would be nice for me to kind of catch it with one of mine and hammer into it. So something like that, perhaps. There is, yes. So I'm hopeful they come forward and I can intercept them. I'm going first. Slightly annoying because I'd like to see what they're doing, but I'll just put you up here. Before they come, shooting my knights, 2 up save, no damage. Not very susceptible to range fire, our guys, which is good. Now, if I go with this one first, I'm hopeful they'll waste their time by going with that unit. Get to there. I was really hoping they would come forward. Fine, okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to be optimistic and assume you come charging forward at me here, so I'm just going to intercept that one in the flank. Now, they're light cav, so they have better movement, so it's a slight hassle. So here, no, get close enough where I can. No, I'm going to have to get over the blue bit, which is annoying. I'm trying not to go too far forward because it means the further forward I go, the less forward this unit's going to come to catch me, and I want them to stretch admirably because it makes it much easier for me to intercept them with this unit. So just there is fine, I can see them, which is good enough. Before they come, okay, I'm now going to have to gamble. So I'm going to presume they come forward, so I'm going to position this preemptively, see if I can intercept them here. So, surely that will suffice. Yes, they can obviously see me there, but I can at least counter them in case I can't do anything else. So that will do. Try that, that's surely enough to catch them wherever they move into. Yeah, like that. It's annoyingly would actually be... Oh, they've moved perfectly to see both units, so I can't flank them. Fair enough, you got me there. Okay, who do I want to charge with what? Which of these is a defense 6 unit? You are. The problem is if I charge this, I could do that first, intercept, they then can't move. The downside is they might hit me there. So you're allowed to intercept an enemy in the front if you're closer to the enemy than what they're trying to charge. What I mean, so let's say if I charge this, that line is obviously longer than that line, so I can charge that, they can then force me to take that charge anyway by intercepting me. So what I'm trying to achieve here is I want that one to go into that side and I want them to go into the front. They're defense 6, which is fantastic. I don't think I'm quite going to be able to pull it off because it's worth a try, because if I did that first, they'll then intercept me here anyway, which is quite annoying. So let's just try it, we'll give it a go. Yeah, I presume that was coming, so fine, we'll just have to take a bunch of head-on charges then. You're going to hit me there, I'll hit you back. We'll win these, but it's obviously not as pretty as could have had it the other way. Come the Spearman. We'll use this ability now, why not? Up to 7 attacks with those extra attacks I got from the last one. Okay, and you preemptively get ready to start defeating Spearman when you have the chance. Do I want to take the... I mean, I think, presumably, if I charged into the foot knight, I would just win. There'd be power 3, they got to power 4, I'd save on 2+. Superior... Oh yeah, I just chew straight through them. Yeah, let's just demonstrate our superior strength and smash right through. They hit me a bunch, I save on 2+, I take and wound, which is fine. This is the one with worse skills, so I don't hit quite as accurately, but still, crush them, no problem. Don't hold, because that would be a tall order. It's going to be even easier. Terrible hit roll from our character there, and he even saves a 6 class. Hit me, which will be 2+ again. 1 wound. They lose, their cavalry just can't beat mine. Okay, I could reach those and just kill them, which is nice. They might come. That one will almost certainly come back because of the distance. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put you onto it, and then I can leave it to this unit to clean up both of them, because I'll do this charge this time. If they rally, they can't move. I'll end up killing them, breaking some running, and then I think at the angle I can then charge that one next turn as well. So he'll clean up. In case they do hold on, I can kill them both with that one unit alone. So don't take that one. That'll be fine. Here he comes, that's fine. Not that big a deal, so I'm just going to get out of the way with you. Come around here, Take your pick. You can either rear charge either unit. Spoiled for choice there. They rally, fine, they'll be killed in a moment as we knew. You can't quite get into the flank of something, which is unfortunate, so we'll just take a head-on charge. There we go, so they have inferior skill, hitting on 4s, still 2+ to save. No, 2 1s, excellent. So 17 attacks, 11 hits. Right, so they're pretty tough, they're defense 5 in their own right, they're not that fragile, but they're just gonna win eventually. Here we go. Let's kill off the remaining ones. Perfect. Kill off those remaining cavalry there. Setting up a nice conga line for me to go straight through them all there. We'll do that. We'll do this. I could charge in. I'll take a lot of casualties for pretty much no reason. Because the thing about spearmen is that if they're not charging, they're unique benefit. They don't get any power on the charge like anyone else, but they get to fight in 3 ranks. So they get 6, 12, 18 attacks. They'll get 9, well, they have less skill, so 9 hits on average, power 3 against defense 4. I'll take about 3 casualties. Whereas if I just leave it to this unit, they'll fight them, win, break them, and I take no damage whatsoever. So there's really no benefit to putting the axemen in there. It's not like we'll lose this combat without them. You just stand there. There again. Another opportunity to roll 1s, which we do not. Take that. Damage. They have even better saves this time because I'm down power off the charge, but again, still can't win. Over here. Dead. Skip through that, not surprising. And then this one, can I chew my way through the spearmen? 3 kills from the Abyssal Champion, excellent, and another 6 from the unit. They lose by 10, even with all their ranks, so they get Discipline 7 plus about like 1, 2 ranks, putting them up to 9 or something, but minus 10 means they can't hold, it's over. No casualties, fantastic. So the Abyssal Champion leveled again. Skill, a wound, or thing. Skill is particularly potent on him because it buffs his demonic possession, where if I can get enough skill, maybe I could use demonic possession and still be hitting in 3s, which would be unbelievable. Take that. And then the axemen leveled. Their own random stat, which is pretty cool. Yeah, why not? It could, if they get an extra attack or an extra wound, they all of a sudden go from a liability to a hyper potent unit. So cross fingers, no discipline. Skill 5, which is, I mean, not the great. Pretty much any of those 4 would have been better, I suspect. So fine, we'll take it. And then everyone's fine to take gold. So yeah, we're rich. Excellent. Okay. That's going rather well. I think we'll leave that there. Thank you very much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed. If so, do like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel and I do appreciate it. If you have any notes on the SOVL run or any potential future thematic runs you'd like to see, please let me know. I do take the time to read all the comments, so your feedback will be taken on board. Or if you just want to chat, that's fine too. Thank you very much. I'll see you next time.